This time we're playing Domain Living End. This deck has two main win cons. The first one is to resolve a living end. Try to board wipe your opponent, bring back your creatures from the graveyard. And the second one is just to beat them down with two domain creatures, Territorial Kavu and Scion of Draco. In order to resolve a living end, we rely on Bloodbraid Marauder. Once you have Delirium, this spell has Cascade. There are 3 endurances to empty out your opponent's graveyard, 3 generous ends to find forests, similarly 3 Oliphants to find mountains. There's a Glastusk Hulk which pitches to Solitude and can also cycle. Another effect is that when an artifact enters the battlefield it gets +1/+1 until end of turn and it cannot be blocked. Could be relevant in the late game. 4 Scion of Draco, which gives all your creatures some nice abilities if you have a Leyline of the Guild Pact in play. 2 Territorial Kavu, also nice to empty out your opponent's graveyard if you're trying to resolve a living end. 1 Finale of Promise, could also be used to cast a living end that's in your graveyard. 4 Incubation Incongruity, this allows you to find the creature that you need or to deal with a very difficult creature on the opponent's side of the board. 4 Malevolent Rumble to fill your graveyard. 4 Leyline Binding to deal with graveyard hate or other creatures. Mana base all over the place because you need to get domain. There are 2 Triomes and some fetch lands, surveil lands to fill that graveyard. Sideboard wise, there's 2 Clarion Conquerors to deal with mostly artifacts, but to a lesser extent also creatures and planeswalkers. 2 Damping Sphere to deal with big mana decks and possibly Titan. Deafening Silence, Storm Hate, possibly Prowler's Hate. Elesh Norn works well against energy, but I'm not sure about the mana cost here. Another Endurance for graveyard decks, a Foundation Breaker to deal with artifacts or enchantments. Inevitable Betrayals to board in against decks that play big creatures like Eldrazi. Mystical Dispute to protect your combo possibly from a counterspell, force, or negation. 2 Slaughter Games to just take out combo cards from your opponent. Temporary Lockdown, possibly to bring in against energy or other go wide mid-range kind of decks. And another Kavu if you want to go a bit more down the aggro path. Alright, let's play. This hand doesn't really work. We only have 1 land, no way to get another easily. We are on the draw. Living End in hand is not great. No, we're gonna maul this. Alright, so again a Living End. Can put that back. And I think we can keep. We have 2 lands, we have a Leyline, we have Scion of Draco, turn 2 possibly. We can get another land to get domain. They destroy Leyline, and we have a Kavu to put pressure on them as well. Alright, let's go. So we're probably going to fetch a shock land that would give us domain in combination with another Triome in case the Leyline gets destroyed. And then turn 1 we can fetch that Triome using Generous End. And if This is still in play. Turn 2 we'll play the mountain, and then we can go Scion of Draco. And then turn 3 possibly Kavu. Because with the Scion of Draco with the leyline of the guild back, Kavu would have hexproof. Let's see, opponent is thinking. Are you there? Yeah, opponent starts playing. Door was ringing. So shadowy backstreet, that could be the black-white blink deck. Just put a fetch land into play and go to our end step or our opponent's end step. So we don't necessarily have to fetch. Yep, there it is, Overlord. So next turn we could expect a failure. Let's see what they get into the graveyard. Bowmasters, Emperor of Bones, and an Overlord. They take the Bowmasters. Okay. Let's also open our graveyard. Overlord trigger. I'm going to use Generous End to get a Tryon. So let's see. This fetch land fetches for forest or plain, so we can get a forest or plains. We can get Sacred Foundry with that, so we can get this Tryon to have domain in case our ley line gets destroyed or blinked. Just putting another fetch land into play for now, and then go with a Scion and pass the turn. Very hard for our opponent to deal with this because it has hexproof. Solitude won't work. If they could possibly flicker the ley line with a Ophelia, then the Scion temporarily loses all these abilities. And then they could possibly Solitude it before ley line comes back at the end step. They thought Seas, go with a Kavu. It's probably the right choice, and they can steal that Kavu now, or even the Generous End. This Emperor of Bones is a very annoying hate against our living end deck. But we could use Incongruity to exile it, possibly. They take the Generous End. Another Scion. I think we'll first attack. Now we could put more power into play, Or you could exile this Emperor of Bones to avoid them bringing back an Overlord or Kavu. Yeah, I think that's going to be the play. Let's just do that now. So they cannot use Ephemerate or anything. We don't want them to empty out their graveyard or their own graveyard. And we can deal with a 3/3 green frog lizard. So this incubation incongruity adds 2 types to the graveyard for the possible delirium that we need with Bloodbraid Marauder to cast Living End. So nice 2/1 with relevant abilities. Okay, they just skipped the turn. Could still possibly flash in Ophelia. Let's see, a Rumble. We'll first go to attacks. Deal 4. I think we're gonna save the Rumble because if they play another Emperor of Bones, they might start emptying out our graveyard, so we'll just go Trial, play it, and then we will just cast another Scion, and at the end of turn we will fetch a Surveillant with the Windswept Heath. Alright, let's see. There's Velia. Are they going to flicker a Leyline or their Overlord? In case they are going to attack, because they might lose their Velia. Okay, they are probably blinking the they are blinking the Overlord. Okay. All right. Next turn we're dealing 8 possibly. Let's just double block just in case. Alright. They can get it back though. They're casting another Overlord. They're probably trying to put a lot of power into play, so we could possibly go Living End. What are they taking? Taking the Witch Enchanter, so they're going to try to destroy our Leyline here. So we can attack once more for 8 damage. Next turn we'll probably lose our Leyline. Yep. Yep. Let's see what they are taking. Probably the Philia. Or the Flicker Wisp. Taking a Solitude, so they're going to try to exile our Scion, at least one of them. After Leyline of the Guild Pact is gone. Let's go with Elegant Parlor. So we have Domain. Nonetheless, another land, that's not what we need. We do have Delirium already. We'll pick up another land anyway. Let's go to combat. And we will go Rumble. And we find a Marauder. So we could possibly, we'll pick that up. No, we could possibly go Living End. But we would also bring back an Overlord, an Emperor of Bones, Philia, Flicker Wisp, and an Aven Interrupter. So not ideal against our single Kavu and Bloodbraid Marauder. So I think we'll just play out a land, Surveil, and then possibly go Bloodbraid Marauder next turn. Although they're going to fill their graveyard even more. If we could only keep one Scion, then we could just hit them. But they're going to play out the Witch Enchanter, destroy our leyline. Opponent is asking, I wonder what you cascade into, Rhinos or Living End. Alright, this is good for us. I think, well, they can pitch something to the Solitude. Going to destroy your leyline. We have Solitude online now. Let's see what they are picking up. Nothing new in the graveyard, and they are probably going to pick the Philia now. Flicker Wisp, okay. We will just block with our spawn token. Wow, we don't even have to block, we are at 43 life. Anyway. Opponent does nothing yet. They do have a Solitude in hand. Impending, sure. We will fetch. For a lush portico. Let's see what we're drawing. Glass Dust. Glass Dusk. Glass Dust Hulk. We'll graveyard that. And then we'll get a try home with this one, because we're out of surveillance. Alright. Just thinning out our deck. Okay, opponent scoops it up. Alright. So they didn't figure out whether we are on Living End or Rhinos. We do want a Foundation Breaker against their Overlord. Kavu not great on the draw, I guess. But we can empty out their graveyard. If we can get this to attack. Elish Norn might be too slow, especially on the draw. Endurance is nice, of course. Damping Sphere doesn't do much, I think. They don't really play blue spells. Slaughter Games could be something. Temporary lockdown. Philia's 2. Emperor of Bones is 2. That's about it, so not really useful. I think we'll just go down to Glass Dust Hulks. Want to keep that domain package so they cannot Solitude our creatures. Let's try this. And the ley lines also pitch to Solitude over Endurance. In case we draw them later. So we have 2 ley lines in hand, 3 lands, we have a Scion of Draco turn 2, possibly Living End. This is a keep. You can decide not to put one of them into play. I think in this case could be useful if they have a Witch Enchanter. They possibly have to wait another turn if they want to ephemerate it. They only have that online by turn 4. Or with a Flicker Whisper turn 3 if they play it as a land first. So we'll just go Arid Mesa, probably Surveil, end of turn, into Elegant Parlor. Fetch an Elegant Parlor to Surveil. And we can always get Domain online with the Windswept Heath. Opponent surveils an Overlord into the graveyard, keeps mana open for possible Philia. It's no match for our Scion with a ley line on the battlefield. So we'll go with it, Elegant Parlor. Leyline Binding, that's a nice pickup, we'll keep that on top. Just play out the fetch land and then go Scion. And say go. So Scion could defend us against the Philia. If they attack, they lose the Philia. They have no way of dealing with the Scion otherwise. Let's open our graveyard too. We can Leyline Binding, possible Overlord that's being flipped, or an Emperor of Bones. We would still have mana to go Rumble. They play a Swamp, tap it. They destroy target permanent. They destroy the Leyline with a Vindicate, that's nice. They hold off on attackers. Scion has Flying and Vigilance, so attacking is basically free here. They can't block. We gain 4 life. Very hard to deal with. Okay, we'll just play out the forest. Go Rumble. Tap our non-fetch lands. We could take the Solitude. We can pitch the Leyline Binding to it. Or just try to reach 5 mana. Next turn we would already have enough mana for Solitude. Oliphant just fetches a mountain. We'll just take the Solitude and call it a day. So end of turn we can fetch a Triome here. Our opponent's end step. We have Domain online in case they get rid of her Leyline. Could also possibly go Leyline Binding into anything annoying they have. If they cast an Overlord and they do attack with Philia, to flicker the Overlord. See? You can now just Leyline Binding the Overlord. Yeah, let's first see what they pick up. So they brought in a High Noon against our Living End combo. ephemerate. They are not taking anything, because they know we're on living end. Okay. This is an enchantment, so they cannot ephemerate it. They're going to try to destroy a land that we have. Yeah, let's first see what happens. What are they destroying here? Elegant parlor, alright. Put it onto the battlefield tab, so that wouldn't change much. Let's just resolve this. Yeah, we'll search. Put a mountain tapped. So they want to go to combat probably. Let's go to the beginning of combat. And we'll just go leyline binding on the overlord. We should have waited for them to first flicker this, but it's alright. It's a misplay. Now they might flicker the White Orchid Phantom. Yep, that's a punt. They do lose the Philia though, if they would. Okay. That's fine. We'll just go to combat. See if they block, probably. So they lose out on the White Orchid Phantom. This White Orchid Phantom can only target non-basic lands. If they don't block, we'll just Solitude it. Opponent is thinking. They don't block. Alright. So now we'll just shock in the Temple Garden to have mana open for Solitude. They will probably flicker this White Orchid Phantom, and with that on the stack, the trigger, we will Solitude the White Orchid Phantom. See what they are doing here. If they have a Witch Enchanter to get rid of our leyline, we do need to be careful what we're tapping here, okay? Let's see what they are flickering with the Flicker Wisp. Are flickering the Witch Enchanter. Okay, that will happen in our end step. So we'll get rid of our leyline in our end step. Alright. Let's see what our opponent is going to do here. No attackers. Alright. Then we'll just hardcast the Solitude. Getting rid of Philia probably, because they have no more flicker effects. They do have mana open for an Ephemerate. Yeah, let's see if our opponent wants to use that against our Solitude. So we'll flash that in before Flicker Wisp triggers. Alright. So they can still ephemerate the Flicker Wisp. They might do so to destroy the leyline binding here. They go with leyline of the Guild Pact and ephemerate the Witch Enchanter to also destroy the leyline binding here. Alright, that's fine. They could get a Solitude back. Let's see. Oh, they destroy the Scion here. Okay. Didn't expect that. We do have Bloodbraid online. Could go Living End. see. We'll get an Oliphant back in the Scion. They would get an Overlord back in Philia. Could attack here. Gain 3 life. They could possibly also have one of their creatures killed. Still have 1 surveil land. Yeah, let's just attack and see what happens. They might block with the White Orchid Phantom. Probably block with the Witch Enchanter. Could hold back a little to fill our graveyard for 25 life. Yep, that's what we want to see. So Solitude dies. We'll wipe the board. First, surveil here. Lush Portico to possibly surveil another creature into the yard. That's not what we want to see. Would be a good pickup probably next turn, so let's leave that on top. We'll play out the Triome. Could also cycle it, but there's no point now. Just use the basics and cascade into a living end. Get our Solitude back. We are out of living ends now, I believe. Let's get rid of Philia or Overlord. Philia we can easily deal with. Let's just get rid of Overlord. You just have 1 card in hand. That's a lot of power into play. They can cast Ephemerate, but there's nothing to Ephemerate other than the Philia. We do have another Witch Enchanter. Okay, they're going to destroy our Scion, I guess, or Leyline Binding. What are they destroying here? Yep, Leyline. We can easily deal with this with our Incongruity. If we're picking up next turn, so then we can just attack 4 in the air, 6 on the ground with Trample and First Strike, Bloodbraid as First Strike, Solitude as Vigilance, and Lifelink. Oliphant gives +2/+0 and Trample. They are going to flicker the Witch Enchanter. Let's just use our Scion then, and Oliphant as well, in case they have any shenanigans. Okay, they will destroy our Scion, no worries. Oh, of course, we living end, so we cannot, we're not picking up Incongruity. Oh, I should have known. Alright, then our creatures lost some abilities. We'll just attack with everything. They do have to block. We'll give them a Marauder Trample. So they can block our Solitude with Overlord, but they would still take 12, so they need to block with Witch Enchanter here. Okay. Take a lot of damage here. Can't really do much. They are at 3 life. Could possibly Solitude their own Overlord to gain some more life. They are attacking. Maybe going with a hardcast Solitude. If we could get double red. We could go Finale of Promise. Could even go Living End. No, there's no incongruity in our graveyard. Opponent picks up a Solitude, yep. Flicker Wisp. Okay. Targeting Overlord. Thoughtseize does nothing. They're just dead now, right? We attack with a Trampler. Unless they Solitude it. Okay. They return an Overlord. Let's see what we're picking up here. Cannot Living End again. I think we're out of them. Opponent is at 1 life. Generous End. Wait, why did my trigger miss? I don't know, opponent. Yeah, we could hold off the Generous End, waiting for another land. Or just get a Surveil land with our Generous End. Oh, we don't have another Surveil land. Let's just put a Stomping Ground into play and say go. We might not make this. Opponent cannot fetch anymore though. Get an Emperor of Bones, which is annoying. Can put a lot of power into play. He might attack for 8. They target what? Another Overlord. Going to adapt. Fill their hand with creatures. So we're taking 13. Going down to 5. Yeah, somehow deal 1 damage, that would be nice. Opponent might deck themselves too. 16 cards in their library. They pick up what? What are they picking up here? Aven Interrupter. Their opponent is at 12 cards in their library. Glass Dust Hulk. Just cast that. Also cycle it, but blue, green, generic. Holding up white mana, signaling a Leyline Binding. This doesn't do much, but if they attack with everything, you can just swing for 3. Let's skip. Opponent can attack for 10. No, 12 next turn. That's not so good. Probably exiling our end. Solitude. Scion of Draco. Okay. That's fine. They attack with everything. Put a Witch Enchanter into their hand so they can kill Glass Dust Hulk, or they can even... No, they can't shock it in. Do we want them to force to make them play? I think we're just blocking the Overlord here, because they can deal with our artifact here and hopefully they will deck themselves soon. Next turn they have lethal. If we don't put anything into play, but they do have that Aven Interrupter. So let's see. Endurance is nice. So we'll do that with the Overlord trigger on the stack. Let's see. Do have a Solitude. Another land. This could happen. They don't exile anything interesting. So we could have a mill 4 cards. Yeah, we'll do that. Green, green, red. They do have that Aven Interrupter. Yep. Comes plotted. Maybe we should have flashed this in before. I don't think we can cast this now. It's overdead. Yep, we should have played this last turn, Endurance. Okay, that's a punt. Let's just let the damage happen. There's no way for us to cast this Endurance. If we had played it last turn in our own turn, we could have played it. Can go a bit more aggro now, bringing in a Kavu. Go down 1 Finale of Promise. We have 3 living end, 4 endurance. Yeah, let's ship this back. So opponent cannot easily deal with the ley line of the guild pacts. So maybe we should try to get a hand like that. This hand is living end heavy. We can endurance their graveyard twice, possibly. It's a bit too slow. I don't know if the living end plan is good against them. Let's see what we get with them all. Do get a Scion. Can deal with this though. Also not super great. Let's just maul. Okay, we find a ley line. We find a Scion. We have a ley line binding. Can go down 1 Glass Dust. Hulk. One ley line of the guild pack to keep the ley line binding. Could also decide to surveil into a land, but that's tricky. Just put this into play. We will go Wooded Foothills, Elegant Parlor, see what we're drawing, and go with a turn 2 Scion. Alright, let's see. We just have to raise them before they can get rid of our ley line here. Thoughtseize. That's unfortunate. Okay, our Scion is gone. Let's see what we're drawing. Go Elegant Parlor. Solitude. Oh, that's useless. Blood Parade Marauder. 3 types in the yard. Could try to surveil another one into the yard and hold that ley line binding up. If we use this fetch land to surveil, we are further away from domain. That's the downside. Thoughtseize again. Yep. Take our leyline binding. So now we can just go living end next turn. If they don't have another Thoughtseize. That's good enough. Ah. Alright, opponent had 3 Thoughtseizes in a row. I think we just have to surveil and see what we're drawing. Another land. No. We need action. Boseiju. Guess we'll keep this up for a Overlord. Yeah, it's hard to be 3 Thoughtseizes in a row. Another Thoughtseize, that's fine. We can't take Boseiju. So 4 Thoughtseizes in a row. They took our Scion, they took our Solitude. No, they took our Scion, our Leyline Binding, and our Bloodbraid Marauder. Emperor of Bones. We're gonna empty out our graveyard. Have to deal with it. They go with a Solitude. Okay. Just keep the Boseiju. Leyline Binding is nice. Just go Leyline Binding now. So they can't ephemerate the Emperor of Bones. Could play the Boseiju, but I'd rather hold it up for an Overlord. Maybe we should have waited. The Leyline Binding. If they have another land, they could just go Philia, Leyline Binding. But let's see. Probably take the Philia. Yep. And we'll hold up Boseiju. When they try to flicker it 2 turns from now. Endurance is nice too. Put some pressure on our opponent. So we can go Boseiju, Endurance. Just hold back the Endurance. Just kill the Overlord with Boseiju. I think that doesn't really do much. Overlord is not nice with Living End. We really have to get rid of that, so we'll just wait for them to play Philia, try to flicker the Overlord. Hopefully we'll pick up another land and we can go Endurance. Okay, they don't play Philia. You can always flash that in. I think we'll just destroy the Overlord now, just to do something with our mana. And if we pick up another land, we have Endurance up. They cannot really ephemerate this because it's not a creature. They do get a land out of it. Can surveil. Haven Interrupter. It's okay. So let's see if we draw a land. Nope, but we can go Living End. But the unfortunate thing is that we do have an Overlord in there now. I think we just have to skip. Can't do anything. We don't want to go Bloodbraid, Living End. They can start swinging. They have another Overlord. If we pick up a green card, we can just Endurance them. That would be great, and then we can just go Bloodbraid Marauder. Yeah. Let's see. Take Flicker Wisp. Flicker Overlord. A green card will do it, any green card. Take an Aven Interrupter, which they... Can they cast it? No, it's 3 mana. Green card, come on. Mountain. At least we can Endurance now. We do have to do it now, otherwise they will plot it using Aven Interrupter next in their turn, so we'll just go Endurance now, empty their graveyard. We have a blocker for Philia. Select them and just pass the turn. Hopefully next turn we can go Living End. If they attack with Overlord, we'll just block with the Endurance, probably. So we have an Endurance in the yard as well. They are going to Solitude and probably Ephemerate it. Then they have that Aven Interrupter up. That's unfortunate. Living End costs 2 more, I think. With that Aven Interrupter. They blink the Overlord. Flicker the Overlord. That's good. Just filling up their graveyard, unfortunately, here. Could bring Scion back, it has Hexproof, and Bloodbraid Marauder. It's Hexproof as well. I think we're just going to look at the top 5. Possibly pick up a Scion. And we can then cast. Don't pick up a Scion. Then we'll just go with a Bloodbraid Marauder. Cast that. Act like we don't have another one. Yeah, we'll cast Living End. They will flash in the Interrupter. That's fine. They will plot the Living End. Okay. Fortunately, Bloodbraid Marauder cannot block. So we cannot get it into our yard. We can attack with it though. They are exiling our graveyard. I think this is game. There's nothing we can do about this. Yep. Probably even exile the binding here. Bugger Trawler. Why would they flicker that? Okay. No Catramos in this build, I guess. White Orchid Phantom, that's nice to fill our graveyard within our deck. Just pick up a forest. Depths for anything anyway. But they might exile a graveyard now. Yep. Alright, let's see. Generous End. Yeah, I think this is game. We can cast a Living End, I guess. Wouldn't do anything. Let's just attack. Probably block. Block with the White Orchid Phantom. Because it has first strike. We can fill our graveyard here. Let's try to plot that Living End. Cast it. Can we do that? Pay 2. Wait. Then I will force cycle. Generous End. Get a Surveil land. Oh, we don't have a Surveil land anymore. Alright, then we'll just get a Triome. And then we will cast Living End. I think they have enough power anyway, but we'll see. Create a food. Yeah, I think they have enough power. They even have Solitude, but if they Solitude anything, if they Solitude the Generous End, we gain 5 life. What are they flickering here? Probably the Solitude. Yep. We'll see. Gain 5. Gain 3. They can destroy. Yeah, we don't have any more basics. No point. We do gain 3 or 13. We're still alive. We gain a food as well. 2 types in the yard. I don't think we want a Living End. We are going to die, actually. Alright, we're dead. Thank you. Let's see if our opponent attacks with everything. Play line. Another type in the yard, that's nice. But we're dead. Yep. I was just too greedy last game, mulling down to 5. But 3, 4 Thoughtseize are hard to beat. Let's see, we're on the play. We have a Living End in hand. It's not really good. We have a Leyline Binding. We could get Domain online turn 2, but we have to tap lands then. I think this is too slow. That's small. Now we have 2 Living Ends. 1 Triome. No, this doesn't do anything either. We can bank on drawing a land, but we need to draw the right land too. Alright, so here we have a Solitude that does nothing. We cannot pitch anything. We'll get rid of that. Like to keep 2 lands. We have an Endurance. We have a Kavu. If we fetch a Triome and then shock in, fetch and shock, we can play out the Kavu turn 2. Like to keep the Endurance, just bottom the Generous End. Yeah, let's keep this. So we'll just get that Triome down at the end of turn 1. Fetch and shock. Sacred Foundry and go with a Kavu. Okay, opponent is ramping up. Let's see. we are getting this Scion here, and we will shock in a Sacred Foundry. So we have domain, go red, green, play out the Kavu, say go. We can pitch a generous end to endurance. Let's see. Our opponent is on Eldrazi. Emrakul cares about the graveyard, so we could start emptying out our opponent's graveyard if we attack with Kavu. Kavu doesn't have trample, so they can easily block. And before damage, even sack it to the Chrysalis. Not ideal. We draw a Living End. So do I want to loot here? Do I just want to cast an Incubation? Possibly pick up a Scion. That Scion wouldn't be online. I think I'm just gonna go attack. Loot away the Living End. It's useless in our hands. We don't really care about the land in our opponent's graveyard now. They are far away from casting the Emrakul. Pick up a Boseiju, that's good. We can get rid of their Labyrinth. I think that might be a good play. That will get rid of their Emrakul and their Ugin's Labyrinth. What is this deck? Opponent asks. They're blocking and probably sacking before damage. Yep. As expected. We'll just pick up a forest and go Boseiju. Just a basic forest to avoid taking too much damage. We can also go with Stomping Ground, getting rid of red and green. It's a nice 2-for-1 as well. I think I like for them to get rid of the Emrakul. Alright, they get a commercial district. What is this deck? I'm gonna say your worst nightmare. So edgy. If I would have gotten rid of the Stomping Ground, I would still probably have gone with Commercial District, which would allow them to go with a Malevolent Rumble. What are they going to take here? Probably the Temple, because that's the only thing they could take. Yup. Opponent is ramping up. Do have this Kozilek's Return, but I don't think it does much against our creatures. They are going with another Utopia Sprawl, taking 1. Attacking for 3, that's fine. Solitude. 3 types in the yard. We'll probably attack. Or we could go Incubation for a Scion, then Kavu would get trampled, I think. Yeah, that might be the better play. And otherwise we'll pick up a Bloodbraid Marauder. We do find the Scion. Let's go Scion. So now our Kavu has trample. Think we can either loot here or get rid of the Castle X return, for example. I don't think this does much. They do have 4 card types. They have 4 mana here, 6 mana, 7, 8, 9, plus 4, so they are very close to casting that Emrakul. I think we're just gonna take away their Castle X command to get rid of 2 types in their graveyard. Oh no, it just gets rid of 1. No, maybe that was not the best line. Maybe we should have looted for Bloodbraid Marauder or something. I think we could still... Okay, they just quit. Unfortunate. We are on the play. We have 2 lands in hand. We have an Oliphant, which acts as a tap land. We have a Kavu. Don't have Domain. I think this is a keep. We will probably fetch that Scion with the Wooded Foothills, play the mountain turn 2, then go Kavu. And we can always use Oliphant turn 3 when Kavu starts attacking to get Domain. Then also go Scion to give Kavu trample and what is it, first strike. And then we have a 5/5 trample first strike. Novice Inspector, alright. It's gonna be fun. Let's see. So we can go Sanders Lounge. That is a mountain which we can get with Oliphant. So we'll go Triumph to get the green mana for Kavu. Pick up a generous end. Go Kavu. Pass the turn. Then let's open our graveyard. Next turn, like I said, we can't go Oliphants. Well, we could go Oliphant, pick up a Sacred Foundry and go Scion. Unfortunately, they march our Kavu. So it's exiled, it doesn't go to our graveyard for the living end. Stuff we're trying to do, they are attacking for 1. Okay, so opponent is mana screwed here. They exiled another march. What are they on here? Pick up a Bloodbraid Marauder. Think we'll go Oliphant, Shock in the Sacred Foundry. To get that white mana going, or should we go get more green mana? Yeah, we'll go get more green mana for an endurance. So we need to go Temple Garden, shock that in, go Scion. Scion doesn't have hexproof or anything, we don't have the Leyline of the Guild Pact. But it's still a 4/4 flying creature that dodges their march. Because it has mana value 12. What is this? Sheltered by the Ghosts. Okay. They get to exile. Novice Inspector has +2, +0, and Ward 1. Did they bring a standard deck to a modern game? Can cycle the Glass Dust Hulk with another type in the graveyard. Or we get 2 types in the graveyard with this. I think we should just go Living End. Right now, to get rid of this Novice Inspector and get our Scion back. So we'll just go Incubation, see what we can pick up. Opponent is tapped out. Don't think they play a Force of Negation. Yeah, let's just pick up another Bloodbraid Marauder, right? That hurt. Thin out our deck. Okay, we're playing it right away. Let's go Living End. Yep. Nice. Getting our Scion back. Get a Generous End. And we're getting a food. Just killing for our opponent. Not sure if they can recover from this. 5/7 Trampler, 3/1 First Strike. For Flyer. Opponent is trying to understand what happened, and they scoop it up. Alright. They did have blue mana, so we might want to have a Mystical. You seem low to the ground, so maybe a temporary lockdown is nice. Might bring in some hate. Graveyard hate. We'll just bring in 1 Foundation Breaker. They can easily deal with our Kavus, so we might want to go down those. Maybe 1 Glass Dust Hulk. Keep the Leyline Scion package. I think we'll try it like this. If we have a Leyline down, Scion, they cannot target our creatures. This is an interesting hand. A bit on the slow side. We can go Lush Portico. No Temple Garden, Incubation to find that Scion. Yeah, this is kind of slow, but we'll just try it. Their power level seems to be on the low side. Go Novice Inspector. What are we picking up here? A Leyline of the Guild Pacts. I think we just want to go Temple. Cannot really go Temple Garden. Sacred Foundry, pick up a Triumph. No. We'll just fetch Shock, pick up a Triumph with Oliphant. Fuck. Sorry. We almost passed our turn without playing a land. That would have been bad. Let's open up our graveyard here to see what we have for possible living in. Our opponent does play fetch lands, though it's not a complete standard deck. Fetch. So we can get this Sanders Lounge with an Oliphant. So we need to get a Temple Garden to have Domain. So Let's shock in the Temple Garden. Put an Oliphant in the yard and get that Scion. We could alternatively get like a stomping ground, so we could go Rumble and then Oliphant. I think that's better. With the spawn token we can block the Inspector and then just before damage sack it to Mountain Cycle and get the Scion with our second Oliphant. They flash in Ophelia, I'm not sure why. Another Living End. We'll just stay on the Rumble plan, taking some damage here. We will put a Marauder into our hand so we could Living End. Yeah, that seems to be the best line. We have Delirium here. Don't know what our opponent will flicker here, maybe a Novice Inspector. Let's see. Two Living Ends are useless. Leyline of the Guild Pack kind of useless. Could pitch this to a Solitude or Endurance if we had one, but other than that, kind of useless. Alright, so they probably flicker the Novice Inspector. Get another clue. That's fine. We'll just block. And before damage, Mountain Cycle to get a Triome out. And then we have Domain, and we could even go Marauder Living End. Alternatively, we could get a fetch land, but I do think I want that Domain down. Next turn, our opponent is facing two Oliphants and a Bloodbraid Marauder. They do have blue mana up for a possible counter magic. I think we should just wing it, play out a Triome and go Marauder. If they counter Living End, so be it. Counter target spell. They are countering the Bloodbraid Marauder. That's fine. No. So Bloodbraid Marauder is coming back anyway. They should have waited for this Cascade trigger to resolve and then countered the Living End. So we're still going to Living End here if they don't counter it. There it is. Alright, opponent probably scoops this up because we have lethal on board. Countering the Bloodbraid Marauder is kind of useless because the Cascade trigger is on the stack. Living End might still resolve and we just get the Bloodbraid Marauder back. Yeah, opponent. If we can attack with the Oliphants, we can just give the Marauder trample. They might have a blocker, but wouldn't do much. They are dead on board here. Yep. Easy win against a deck like this, I would say. So let's play one more game. Since one of our games got cut short, we're on the play here. We have no lands in hand, so we have to maul. Again, no lands. What are the odds? There they are. So we sort of have to keep this. Don't want to go down to 4. We have 2 lands now. We have an Oliphant. I want to bottom the living end. Oliphant can give us another land. Endurance might not be useful. Cannot get the Scion down. Rumble allows us to dig. I think we should keep the 2 lands. Oliphant is a tap land. I think we should just go Rumble. Then we can go Oliphant. I think we'll bottom the Endurance. Let's keep this. Probably go Triome. No, we won't go Triome, we go Surveil. Turn 2, Rumble. Triome might give away what we're on. Can always get the Triome with the Oliphant of the spawn and the Rumble. We have 3 types in the graveyard by then. Maybe pick up a Bloodbraid Marauder with Rumble. Thoughtseize, that is not nice. We can decide to Mountain Cycle the Oliphant, but we'll just let this happen. Probably take them a level and Rumble. Let's open up our opponent's graveyard. Yeah, they took the Rumble. That's unfortunate. So now we will definitely surveil to see what we're drawing next turn. With the Oliphant we can get Sanders Lounge. So we need green-white. We'll go with a lush board to go to get domain. Incubation is a nice pickup. So we will play out that Forest so we can Mountain Cycle. Go Scion turn 3. And just go Incubation, I guess. We might have another Thoughtseize. Yeah. Let's pick up another Oliphant. Could go Endurance, but cannot really pitch anything. We get a tap land next turn, so we cannot even play that. But it might still be nice if they go Thoughtseize and pick up our Scion, so just go Endurance, pass the turn. 3 types in the yard. Sacred Foundry tapped, and they play a Relic. That's unfortunate, but we just go all in on the Scion plan. We will get Sanders Lounge. Another Incubation. Just play out the Sanders Lounge and go Scion. Can keep an Endurance in hand because we can pitch Incubation incongruity to it. If we want to save any cards in our graveyard, catch Mouse. So if they try to exile our graveyard, I'll just pitch an Endurance. I also forgot to tap this last turn. We will probably go with Malevolent Rumble, so we still have 4 types here. Okay. They draw a card, lose a life. We'll hit them for 4. Could still go Living End. If we pick up a Bloodbraid Marauder. Can now hardcast an Endurance. Solitude. So we can exile Catramos. I think we'll just let this happen. When they try to exile our graveyard, we'll just flash in an Endurance. There are 3 cards in exile now. Catramos needs 6, 7. That's fine. Overlord. I think we maybe should go Endurance now. So we could get rid of their Solitude. Maybe we should just go exile this Catramos. They can possibly get the Solitude back, which is not good. If we go Endurance, they might pop the Relic. Yeah, let's just do this. Next turn we can deal with Catramos anyway. We'll cast it, hard cast. Our Living End plan is sort of screwed up by this Relic anyway. Let's see what opponent does. Exile our graveyards, that's good. They lose 1 life, draw a card. Next turn we'll just exile this. Or not exile it, turn it into a 3/3. Lose another life. Do they? No. No point, we'll just target them. Maybe we shouldn't have done that, doesn't really matter. Nice pickups. Probably pick up the Emperor. The Orcish Bowmasters, okay. Our deck doesn't really draw much. We have another Relic. We can attack with Catramos now. That's fine. Nothing to exile. Can target themselves if they want to draw and lose a life. We can block because this has Menace. Wait. Yeah, it does have Menace. Okay. Could cycle this. Try to pick up a land. Play around Bowmasters. I think we'll just attack. We can exile their Catramos right now. Let's do that before they have some kind of flicker effect. And to avoid them drawing more. There goes Catramos. 2 types in the yard. But they can use their Relic now. Get a Frog Lizard. 3/3. Can flash in a Bowmasters. Probably do that when I attack with Endurance. And then with that on the stack, we will just cycle the Glass Dust Hulk. We have a Leyline Binding too. See what we'll do with that. Maybe for another Catramos. There it is. Cycle. Rumble, that's a nice pickup. So they deal 1 to us. Get a token that they will use to block with. Now we can go Rumble. But they can pop the relic at any point. So I think we should sit back. Save the binding for the relic possibly. See what they play first. If they play another Catramose, then maybe we want a binding that. Philia. Okay. I think they can flicker that Overlord. I don't think so. Let's see. Another black-white blink. Some red mana. So, not a good matchup for us. Yep, Overlord. Just binding that right now. No Overlord for you. We do take 6, which is not ideal. They thought they would have a blocker in Overlord. And that's not happening. So we can attack for 3. I think we should hold back Endurance for Ophelia. They can destroy the Leyline binding. No good. Now they get their Overlord anyway. Fill their graveyard. If we wanna Living End, we're kind of screwed. Pick up the Catramose. Fatal push our Endurance. So pick up another Living End. Our only hope is a Rumble into a Bloodbraid Marauder. And we pick up absolutely nothing. I think we will just concede here to not show too much of our deck. And let's see. So we go Foundation Breaker for Overlord, Endurance to empty out their graveyard. Let's try Elish Norn. Slow, but maybe it works. Kavu for the aggro plan. I think we're off Living End pretty much. Maybe we can go Betrayal instead. Get an Overlord, Catramose out of their yard. Out of their deck. I don't think Last Dust does much. Well, we still need to hit Delirium. Mystical might be nice. If we go in for the long game, I guess. Slaughter games to just thin out their deck. Just pull out all the stops. Fuck Last Dust. Hulk. Finale might be nice if we mill over an Inevitable Betrayal. Want to keep the Leyline of the guild package. We need the cyclers to find land. Need trim two more cards here. Yeah, maybe Slaughter Games is just too slow. Submit. So we do find the Leyline. 2 of them. We have a tap land. 2 tap lands to do our Leyline binding. This doesn't do much. Maybe we can keep the Leyline. Oh yeah, let's just try it. Can Leyline 2 of their things. Can force cycle. Chuck something in. It's hard for them to deal with. 2 ley lines and a possible Scion. Might even pick up a land next turn. They are going to Thoughtseize. We could respond. Let's not. Probably go with the end, so we are down on mana. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Yep. Do have the bindings up though. And we draw Solitude. No, let's just pass the turn. Binding an Overlord, Ophelia. Could even go Solitude. Relic, it's unfortunate. It's just binding that. Will make us exile. Yep. It's gonna be the end. Tough. Hopefully a land now. Nope. This is gonna be a tough match. Missing our land drops. Could have kept another ley line in hand to pitch to a Solitude. Might have been better. Now we might have to pitch our ley line binding. There's a Witch Enchanter that they could flicker. Pick up another land, that's good. We have no use for it though. This is only from your graveyard. I'll just pass. Flicker Wisp would allow them to flip this. Yep, there it is. So they will probably get rid of the ley line. I think that is fine. They will flicker the Witch Enchanter and they will destroy the ley line binding, but we will just play another one. There's not much else we could do. Wait, we're not really in on the living end plan anyway. But we do want to reach the Lyrium. Let's see what they destroy here. A ley line of the Guild Pact. Sure, then before they can flicker, we will just binding their Witch Enchanter. Okay, Bloodbraid Marauder. Would have been nice if we had 4 card types in the yard. We could put it in play to have 3 power to attack with. Doesn't really do much. You can just go Finale to put a type in the yard. And we have 2 types in the yard. Yeah. Try to keep it, I think. Need to pick up a Rumble. Or a land to cast Endurance. They have another Witch Enchanter. Okay, they'll probably get rid of this ley line to get rid of another ley line. Kind of screwed here. Lose domain. Lose 3 life. Still 1 card type in the yard. We can't even cast the Kavu. We can go sorcery to add another type. Pitch Kavu to the endurance to get yet another type. I think I'll just try that. Done. Done. Just fill up that yard. Pitch Kavu to endurance. And hopefully get a fetch land or something next turn so we could go Marauder. Gonna take 7 damage here. Probably hardcast an Overlord here. Let's see. We're down to 10. They even get to exile or graveyard. What are the odds? So we can endurance to put this at the bottom, but I think these cards are kind of useless. So down to 1 type in the yard. I might want to save endurance now. Could put it in our yard at any time. This is kind of a nice pickup. Allows us to find a cycler. Let's see. I think we're dead actually, right? They will attack for 10, so we're kind of going to be dead. Yep. There's no point. We will concede. Tough matchup.